Today, I want to show you how you can still maybe memorize a page of Quran, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, even while you have an extremely busy day, just by really trying to do some efficient memorizing tactics. And I'll show you exactly how you do it. So, today, right now, I'm in school. It's like 7 a.m. So, the plan is basically just going to be warming up what I'm trying to memorize, like unconsciously, just like going about the day. And then when I have the time to actually start reading, like to actually start memorizing visually, reading this specific page I'm on, and then inshallah, since I've warmed it up, I'm gonna be able to actually memorize it usually much quicker because you already kind of get familiar with the words. And when you hear the reciter you're always listening to, you don't really have to read slower because you already know the pronunciation. You already know, you might even have some words already memorized just from listening. So now I'm about to drive to work, and I still got it playing. I still got that page playing. Inshallah, even at work, I keep my headphones in and I'll just keep listening to it for the next few hours. I haven't memorized anything so far by listening to it, but I think I got accustomed to the words and like the pronunciation and stuff, so then it should just keep getting easier from there, inshallah. If it was just me like a year ago, or maybe I don't know, maybe even less, I would have used that free time or whatever to literally just like watch YouTube on like FIFA or like NBA 2K or something like stupid. But alhamdulillah now, everyone has like, no matter who you are, you always have these bits of free time in the day where you can memorize. So you're always faced with a choice. You can have like you can just waste a little bit of time or whatever, and in the long run, it won't serve you any benefit. Or you can use that to just like slowly, even if you're not memorizing, just revise the stuff that you have memorized, and in the long run that will serve you so much more than just like doing something stupid. So it's actually the next day, and the purpose of this video was to show a method that I'm doing right now of memorizing the Quran while you might be busy, right? So you can still do it if you listen to the page you're trying to memorize in the morning while you're working, while you're walking, while you're doing whatever, while you're busy or whatever, and then you just actually start reading the page when you get home or before you go to sleep, and inshallah you'll memorize it that way much quicker. But it kind of just turned into like, I guess, a reminder to say that you can still make progress even while you're busy. It's a really common excuse people say, I don't have time or I'm busy or something like that. But if you really want something, you can still do it while you're busy, right? But at the same time, I do feel it because the days I'm not really busy or something like that, it is way, way easier to memorize. But the good news is that you actually do kind of have control over how you go about making your day-to-day life. It's always something you should keep in your mind before you say yes to something, before you agree to something. Always think in your mind, like, how much time is this taking away from me? What is it actually doing? Especially if you're someone who's serious about memorization. There's always gonna be some opportunities. You could work something, you could do something, your friend asks you to do something. Always weigh the pros and the cons. He's like, yeah, you can do that, do this, whatever. You can work that, work this third job, second job. But always think in your back of your mind, oh wait, this is taking away from this. Because there's a lot of people who, you just add stuff to your life and before you know, you can't even review what you've memorized, and then you forget all of you memorized, you can't add to what you memorized. It's always something that, like, now, I made this mistake where I started saying yes to a lot of things. I started taking on like a lot of new opportunities, and then now I'm not gonna lie, it's much harder to memorize. You can still do it, but it's much harder. These past few months, I started saying yes to a lot of things, and then just before you know it, boom, like your time just goes like this, right? And there's a hadith that says the two things that a person will take for granted is their health and their time. And that's kind of what happened to me. Like, I started taking my time for granted, and I said yes to a lot of things, and I gave my word on a lot of things. Now, work, school, another work, all these things, and before you know it, whoa, you only have like an hour to memorize. You only have like an hour to review. Whereas one point in time, especially when I was younger, I had way more time to do that stuff. And also, another thing that will make you have control over your time is actually the way you spend your money. If you're just someone who lives like hella, you're always consuming something, you're always buying the newest clothes, the newest phone, or the newest, you just spend hella money. It's making you more dependent to trade your time for money, so then you can't have the time to just like really dedicate a day, a week to just memorizing, because you have to work here, you have to do this. This is why it says in the Quran, in Surah الصف, yeah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا هل أدلكم على تجارة تنجيكم من عذاب أليم تؤمنوا بالله ورسوله وتجاهدون في سبيل الله بأموالكم وأنفسكم. To fight in the path of Allah with not only your wealth, like not only to spend in the cause of Allah, and wealth is not just like money, right? Your wealth is your time, it's your health, all these things. And أموالكم وأنفسكم, and yourselves, like your own like bodies, your own lives. It's not just like the small things. It goes like much deeper, right? There's a lot of people who, they might have this desire, man, I want to memorize, I want to learn Arabic, but they have literally no time because they're always just really into the dunya, right? But if you're really serious about this stuff, it actually gets to the point where, like, how do you make time? How do you, even from the way you spend your money, all these things. I used to be someone who spends money on clothes a lot, right? Just stupid things like clothes. When I used to play video games, I used to spend money on the video game. How stupid is that, right? I used to do a lot of these things, and then now I'm like, bro, what am I doing, man? I should use this stuff to free up your time, so then you have the time to memorize, to do whatever you're trying to do, right? Learn Arabic, memorize, because the time constraint is one of the biggest ones. I hope that helped. If someone who's, you know, using that kind of cope excuse, oh man, I can't do this because I'm busy, I hope that showed that you actually can, because yeah, I did hit the goal of trying to memorize that page yesterday, even though it's really weak in memory right now. You can still do it for sure. So yeah, assalamu alaikum.